Boriwori calls on federal government to increase pace of work on Ogwashuku Dam. Fire service officers undergo 2-day training to boost effective service delivery. Federal government declares Friday 18th and 21st April as public holiday to mark the Easter celebration. And abroad, members of the World Health Organization (WHO) agrees to treaty designed to better tackle future pandemics. A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on the Delta Television Main News at 8. Joy Ochei is my name. Governor Sheriff Boriwori has called on the federal government to increase the pace of work on the Ogwashuku Dam to end perennial water challenge in Ogwashuku and its environs. Governor Boriwori made a call when the Managing Director of the Benin-Owena River Basin Development Authority, Dr. Oluremi Adekambi, visited him in Government House, Asaba. 8Pm.Wednesday reports.
The governor described the project as dear to Delta State in feeding Aniocha South, Aniocha North, Oshimili South, and Oshimili North local government areas with potable water. He said water sanitation department had been established in the state's 25 local government areas to guarantee regular potable water supply. He advised the River Basin Authority to go into full-scale agricultural production, affirming that government had addressed security concerns to ensure seamless agricultural activities. The governor pledged the state government partnership with the agency to achieve said goals.
If they tell you it has been completed, it has not been completed. Because we have agro-industrial park there, very closely, and it's a very big project that we have. That project was cited there because of the dam. And we know that even your predecessor promised that it will be completed by October. So we're hoping that this year, October, the project will be completed and I know it will be put to use. Hopefully your visit will kickstart that process. The project is very important to us in the state. It will address the acute water issues affecting Ogwashuku and 16 neighboring communities.
The Managing Director of the Benin-Owena River Basin Development Authority, Dr. Adekambi, said the visit was to seek partnership with the state government in food security and completion of the Ogwashuku Dam in Aniocha South, and enjoined stakeholders, especially the youth, to go into full-scale farming to address food insecurity and unemployment. He lauded Governor Boriwori for the developmental strides in the state and reminded the governor of the need to do more in the area of security to enhance agricultural production.
We have abandoned our main focus of providing food, which is food security. People are moving. The idea of that the system in Nigeria have created is that when you leave the rural areas, there's money waiting for you in the urban centers, and which is not true. The best place right now to get money, to develop yourself, Your Excellency, is through agriculture.
It is hoped that the partnership between the Delta State government and its visitor will help to make water available to the people and also provide food on the table of Deltas. For Delta TV News, 8Pm.Wednesday reporting.
The state governor, the Right Honorable Sheriff Boriwori, has disclosed that his administration has invested over 2 billion naira in road infrastructure in each of the 25 local government areas, with a focus on connecting neglected riverine communities to economic hubs. Governor Borewori made this known during the 2025 edition of the Maris Annual Public Service Lecture organized by the Maris Trust Council with the theme Local Governance and Sustainable Development at the Unity Hall, Government House, Asaba. Pere Butu has details.
The lecture brought together public service stakeholders, local government administrators, community leaders, and development experts to deliberate on the pivotal role of local governance in achieving sustainable development. Represented by the Commissioner for Special Duties, Government House, Dr. Ifeanyi Oswoza, Governor Oborowori stated that his administration had prioritized strengthening local governance through transparency, accountability, and active community participation. He emphasized that local governments were not merely the lowest tier of government, but the closest to the people, adding that when local government functions effectively, communities flourished, roads were maintained, schools operated optimally, and healthcare become more accessible. Reiterating his administration's commitment to the more agenda, the governor noted that the initiative was built on inclusiveness, fiscal responsibility, and grassroots development, stressing that sustainable development must be visible and felt in every ward, village, and town across the state.
Since assuming office, we have prioritized strengthening local governance structure by ensuring transparency, accountability, and community participation. We have invested over 2 billion each in road projects across all 25 local government areas, fostering connectivity and economic activity. Our approach is simple but deliberate.
Commending the Maris Trust Council for sustaining the lecture series, Governor Oborowori described it as an intellectual tradition that challenged leaders to think deeply and act boldly, while noting that the lecture's theme aligns strongly with the goals and vision of his administration. In his remarks, the State Deputy Governor, Sir Monday Oyeme, represented by the Deputy Chief of Staff, Sir Ifeanyi Osakwe, emphasized the need for adequate funding for local governments, particularly through a fairer revenue allocation formula to help them achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs). Delivering the keynote lecture titled Local Governance and Sustainable Development, former Managing Director of Champion Breweries, Sir Patrick Ejito, provided a global perspective on local government administration and outlined key challenges such as funding gaps, capacity constraints, limited citizen participation, and weak data systems.
In achieving sustainable development goals, there are 3 platforms you can seek. Global cooperation, getting international agreements, partnerships, cooperation among governments, civil society, and private.
Chairman of the Maris Trust Council, Sir Kenneth Olise, represented by former Ondoka NECU President General Chief Paul Enebeli, advocated for a bottom-up approach to grassroots development and commended Comrade Phyllis Igugbo for consistently organizing the enriching and timely lecture series. The Obi of Abo, Uputa III, praised Governor Oborowori for his achievements in infrastructure, especially in the road sector, and described the Maris lecture series as highly educative, enriching, and innovative. The event featured a panel discussion moderated by Professor Kemi Emina, comprising panelists as the State Commissioner for Works, Rural Roads, and Public Information, Mr. Charles Aniago, the Chairman of the Udu Local Government, Honorable Vincent Oyibode, and Mabel Magbulu, among others.
Because of this discussion, we begin to look at those things that we need to do. That has to do with the implementation of policies and programs that could possibly give vent to the existence and the desirability of local government and city of government.
Also look at the factors militating against local government administration. In some states today, unlike Delta states, local government administration is more involved in the sense that the chief executive of those states never give the free will for the local government administration to try.
When you check out of the 17 SDGs, you have zero hunger, you have no poverty, you have renewable energy, transportation, and all the rest. And local government be the most closest tier of government to the people, supposed to know and have innovation on how to help their people they are close to.
I am Pere Botu reporting.
A two-day seminar on capacity building in emergency situation has been organized for officers of the Delta State Fire Service. The State Commissioner, Bureau for Special Duties, Mr. Ejiro Etajerori, who declared the seminar open, urged participants to take their duties seriously. Gloria Otulu reports.
Mr. Etajerori, represented by the Permanent Secretary in the Bureau, Prince Gregory Ejowomu, enjoined the fire officers to be aware of their roles in saving lives and properties and should therefore be alive to their duties. He said the state government was committed to training and retraining of staff of the Bureau and advised all to reciprocate the government gestures.
Being on this once more, I recall we were here last year for a similar training, and we promise that we will follow up with government procedure and make sure that training will be a continuous process.
The State Director of Fire Service, Mr. Eugene Oziwele, commended the state government for the training, noting that the training would enhance job performance of the firefighters. One of the resource persons, Mr. Anthony Obanya, in his show, underscored the role of the fire service in protecting lives and properties during emergencies, adding that the training was important for the success of the job of the firefighters and getting the support of communities in disaster prevention.
You are composed when you want to fight fire. A man that is not composed cannot fight fire. Fire is devouring. It can devour. But with all the techniques and attitude and training and retraining now we have it, you will know the mindset of how to pursue, how to fight fire.
Gloria Otolo reporting.
The state government has reaffirmed its commitment to providing opportunities for micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, to thrive. The Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Delta State Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency, DEMSMEDA, Dr. Godwin Adolo, stated this during the Delta Cares weekly sensitization program on the Voice of Delta, Asaba. Antonio Mowa reports. Okay, we're going to bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletins. Governor Sheriff Oboriwori has congratulated the immediate past Deputy Governor of the state, Deacon Kingsley Otuaru, on his 57th birth anniversary. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Sir Festus Sahon, Governor Oboriwori commended Deacon Otuaru for his patriotic service and key contributions to success of the Smart Agenda and Stronger Delta initiatives under the previous administration. The governor praised his role in promoting peace and stability in the Niger Delta, especially through his leadership of the then Peace Advocacy Committee against oil facility vandalism, a role that significantly boosted oil production in both the states and the country. Governor Oboriwori prayed for good health and strength and wisdom for the Deacon Otuaru to render service to humanity. The Delta State Procurement Commission will tomorrow conduct a one-day interactive meeting with permanent secretaries in the State Civil Service and heads of interministerial departments to discuss the implementation of this year's Delta State budget. A statement signed by the State Director of Public Communication and Functioning Permanent Secretary in the State Ministry of Information, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, says the meeting will hold at the Ministry of Transport Conference Hall, Class 2D, Professor Chike Dozen Secretariat, Miriam Babangida Way, Asaba, beginning at 11 o'clock in the morning. The Delta State Bursary and Scholarship Board has commenced the online registration of students for the state government's 2024-2025 Students Special Assistance Scheme, SSAs. A government statement says the registration will end on Wednesday, 14th May, adding that prospective beneficiaries must be of Delta State origin, have national identification number, and must be registered full-time students of government-approved private and public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The statement added that they must have a minimum GPA of 2.20 in previous academic year's examination, must be 200 level and above in universities, as well as ND2 and HND2 in the Polytechnic, Monotechnics, and NCE 2 or 3 in the colleges of education, and must have a bank account in CBN-approved commercial bank. Qualified students have been enjoined to log on to www.dsbsb.di.gov.ng to register upon payment of 800 naira non-refundable online processing fee using debit cards. They have also been encouraged to call telephone number 0810 978 6538 or 0805 694 9376 or 0802 350 3315 or email support dsbsb.di.gov.ng, Instagram and dsbsb/12 or Twitter and dsbsb for further inquiries. The federal government has declared Friday 18th and Monday 21st April as public holidays to mark the Christian festival of sacrifice and resurrection, the Good Friday and Easter Monday. The Minister of Interior, Dr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, who made the declaration yesterday on behalf of the federal government, extended heartfelt congratulations to Christians across the country on this joyous occasion. He emphasized the importance of embodying the virtues of the sacrifice and love displayed by Jesus Christ, having to die for the redemption of man. In a statement by the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, the Minister also called on Nigerians to use the holiday period to pray for the peace, unity and stability of the nation. He reassured citizens of President Bola Tinubu's unwavering commitment to the renewed hope agenda, which seeks to foster national growth and development. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has confirmed 674 Lassa fever cases with 127 deaths across 18 states, 93 local government areas between January and April 6 this year. In a situation report released yesterday, the NCDC said 674 cases tested positive out of 4,025 suspected cases during the period under review. So far, the country has recorded 127 deaths with a case fatality rate of 18.8%. The states with reported death cases are Ondo 26, Bauchi 12, Edo 17, Taraba 31, Ebonyi 11, Kogi 4 and Plateau 5. Addis Agombe 7, Benue 4, Nasarawa 4, Kaduna 2, Enugu 1, Delta 1, Cross River 1, and Ogun State 1. Lassa fever is an acute viral hemorrhagic fever caused by the Lassa virus. A natural reservoir for the virus is the multi-mammoth rat, also known as the African rat, although other rodents can also act as carriers. The Director General of the Delta State Orientation and Communication Bureau, Dr. Fred Oganesere, has underscored the critical role of effective communication by spokespersons during the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations NIPR National Spokesperson Summit taking place at Abuja Continental Hotel. Dr. Ganesere examined the performance of several presidential spokespersons in Nigeria, noting that while some possessed strong media backgrounds, a significant number lacked essential formal education and experience in public relations. The Communications Bureau DG utilized four established public relations models and included a survey of 73 professionals, revealing an alarming reliance on the outdated public information model, which severely undermined credibility and public trust. He stressed the urgent need for spokespersons to embrace transparent communication methods to foster public engagement and restore trust in government's messages. The State Governor, the Right Honorable Sheriff Oboriwori, will tomorrow present a staff of office to the Obi of Igbuduaka, Augustine Nzemeke Eziagune Obiokolie III. The statement said the state deputy governor Amande Onyeme will make the presentation on behalf of the governor. A statement signed by Prince Victor Obiokolie indicated that the event will hold at 10 a.m. at the Royal Palace Igbuduaka in Aniocha South Local Government Area. The statement enjoins sons and daughters and friends of the community to attend the event en masse to ensure a rousing welcome to the Deputy Governor and his entourage. The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Emomo Timigwo, has felicitated with the immediate past Deputy Governor of the state, Dikin Kingsley Otuaru, as he clocks 57. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Nkemweke, Honorable Gwo said he was grateful to have served under the leadership of the celebrant as executive assistant, saying that his guidance and mentorship was invaluable. He described Dikin Otuaru as a remarkable leader and mentor, adding that he gained experience while working with him. Still to come on the Delta Television main news, members of the World Health Organization WHO agrees to treaty designed to better tackle future pandemics. Details of this and more shortly. Stay with us.
If tanker wey carry fuel fall or pipe wey carry fuel for underground burst, wetin you go do? You go begin bail fuel put for your bucket, or you go run comot far for where the fire go soon come. Na only small time you get to take this wise decision. Waka comot, no, that one no dey enough. Shift, no, that one no dey enough. Stay there dey gist and take pictures with your phone. That na madness. Run, yes, run comot. Yes, your life depend on wetin you do. The fire go come at once and you no go fit control am. Why? Petrol dey catch fire easily. Why? Na just small spark go start big fire. So no stay there dey think. Run comot quick to save your life. No throw away your life away because of say you wan pack petrol. Take this advice. This informate
na from Public Enlightenment Office, Delta Broadcasting Service, Asaba.
Thank you for staying on. You are watching the Delta Television main news. The global scene is next as we join our news desk.
Members of the World Health Organization WHO have agreed to the text of a legally binding treaty designed to better tackle future pandemics. The pact is meant to avoid the disorganization and competition for resources seen during the COVID-19 outbreak. Key elements include the rapid sharing of data about new diseases to ensure scientists and pharmaceutical companies can work more quickly to develop treatments and vaccines. For the first time, the WHO itself will also have an overview of global supply chains to mask medical gowns and other personal protective equipment, PPE. WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Ghebreyesus described the deal as a significant milestone in the shared journey towards a safer world. Member states have also demonstrated that multilateralism is alive and well, and that in divided world, nations can still work together to find common ground and a shared response to shared threats. Under the terms agreed, countries will have to ensure that pandemic-related drugs are available across the world in a future outbreak. Participating manufacturers will have to allocate 10% of their production of vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics to the WHO. Another 10% will then be supplied at affordable prices. Countries also approved the transfer of health technologies to poorer nations as long as it was mutually agreed. The European Union has identified 7 countries it considered safe countries of origin as part of proposal to speed up asylum applications, especially from those countries involved. Citizens from Kosovo, Bangladesh, Colombia, Egypt, India, Morocco, and Tunisia would all have their claims fast-tracked within 3 months on the assumption that they were likely to fail. Marcus Lammert of the European Commission said it would be a dynamic list that could be expanded or reviewed, with countries suspended or removed if they were no longer seen as safe. Under the plans, EU countries will be able to fast-track people coming either from safe countries or countries from which a maximum of 1 in 5 applicants are given protection. European countries that are candidates to join the EU will automatically be considered safe, although exceptions are possible, for example, for countries at war, such as Ukraine. Canadians will head to the election on April 28, with polls suggesting a tight race between the ruling Liberals and the opposition Conservatives. While Canadians don't vote for prime ministers directly, the leader of the party that wins the most seats will traditionally become the head of government. It will be the first election in a decade without former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau on the ballot, and the frontrunner in the race are Liberal leader Mark Carney and the leader of the Conservative Pierre Poilievre.
And back home on sports, Nigeria National League side Abakaliki FC stunned 2 times CAF Champions League winner Ayimba FC 2-0 to reach the quarterfinals of this year's NFF President Federation Cup at the Stephen Kershaw International Stadium, Asaba. Henry Osiayo reports.
Abakaliki FC, who are playing for the first time in the NNL, barely 5 months it was founded, put up a good performance to claim the well-deserved victory. The Oriental Derby clash, which was earlier scheduled for Enugu, saw Enyimba put up a commanding start to the game, but were lacking in creating clear-cut chances. Abakaliki FC, who are struggling to avoid relegation in the NNL, stunned the People's Elephant in added minutes before the break to take the lead. The Eboyi-based club doubled their lead in the 65th minute from a run-off play to put the game beyond reach for Enyimba. With the result, Enyimba's hope of returning to continental action is in limbo, as they are currently in 9th position in the MPFL table. Meanwhile, Abakaliki FC will be involved in another Oriental Derby against Enugu Rangers, who defeated Bendel Insurance in the NFF President Federation Cup. Henry Osiayu reporting.
A file containing original copies of nursing license, NECO and WAEC results, primary 6 certificates and birth certificates belonging to Ms. Isele Ajiyi has been reported inadvertently left behind in a bus while the owner was on transit from Asaba to Otulu Road on 2nd April. Anyone with useful information on how the documents could be located should contact the nearest police station or the public relations units of Delta Broadcasting Service Asaba, or you can call telephone number 0903 969 2026 and 0903 198 7328. I'll take it again, 0903 969 2026 and 0903 198 7328. That's our news. Here's a thought for the day. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. And just before we go, here are the highlights of the news. Governor Sharifu Boriwori has called on the federal government to increase the pace of work on the Ogwashuku Dam to end the perennial water challenge in Ogwashuku and its environs. Governor Sharifu Boriwori made the call when the managing director of the Benin Owena River Basin Development Authority, Dr. Oluremi Adekambi, visited him in Government House, Asaba. A two-day seminar on capacity building in emergency situation has been organized for officers of the Delta State Fire Service. The State Commissioner Bureau for Special Duties, Mr. Ejiro Etashiruri, who declared the seminar open, urged participants to take their duties seriously. And we also reported that the federal government has declared Friday 18th and Monday 21st April as public holidays to mark the Christian festival of sacrifice and resurrection, the Good Friday and Easter Monday. And from the foreign scene, we did report that members of the World Health Organization, WHO, agrees to treaty designed to better tackle future pandemics. That's our news. Thank you so much for being a part of it. On behalf of the entire news crew, Joy Ochei is my name. Good night.